say
Sure.
they're just saying
Okay.
okay.
We are ready. All right. So I would like to bring our meeting to order this Wednesday, March 15th. If we could all rise and for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I forgot the roll call. We'll do it first anyway. Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, if we,
Oh, yeah, you
you
guys
planned that.
Oh my God.
Now, sorry, Ms. Leonard, if we could do a roll call, please. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, Colleen Clemzak,
Present?
Claudia Parker. Present. Tim Leonard here, Judy Rayson.
Here.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Michael Arnoller.
Present.
Denise Jones.
Yes.
All is present.
Excellent. If we could take a quick perusal of the agenda, and then if I could have a first motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I know there's a new one up on here, but was it updated? I'm sorry.
One more time?
I know the update. It was on here. Was it updated or no?
The Arrow Board report
That
was
was
removed
updated.
because we haven't met
The one
yet.
you got on your packet was addressed.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, thank you.
Sorry about that. I heard your words. I just wasn't
That's okay.
processing. That was a couple days ago, so. So, if I could have, please, a first motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll
And-
second.
Thanks, Judy. And a roll call.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Judy Rayson.
Yes.
Kim Leonard, yes. Claudia Parker.
Yes.
Denise Jones.
Yes.
Michael Arnoller.
Yay.
And Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. Staff report, please.
Great, thank you. So our first staff report for tonight is under Miss Jean Hector is going to present our Credit Union 2023 Educational Grant recipient. Miss Hector, if you'd like to come up.
I'm not sure if you all know, but every year that the credit union, we provide the opportunity for any staff member to write what we call a grant proposal with the hopes of getting $1,000 in funds so that they can actually fund their grant. This year, and we do it for Arrow, District 231 and District 124. So our winner for District 124, the title of her grant proposal was Operation Lego. And the recipient, the winner is Melanie Sinertia. Come on up. Now, Melanie,
I always wanted a big check.
There you go.
I was to say, it's spent before you get it.
It really was meant.
What she hoped to accomplish through her Operation Lego, she wants to get the kids to read and follow directions. She wants a team build. She wants to more communication skills for the kids, and also to get to know your students, because who doesn't do Legos without someone? So anyways, congratulations, Melanie. And actually, I gotta say, what she did with her grant, she didn't just keep it to one class, one grade, anything. She put a Lego kit in every room at Northeast School.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, no, don't you even think
Oh,
about it.
Yeah,
no,
no,
you
we
gotta
gotta
say-
take a picture with you guys.
Come on.
Yes, so come on up. And I see you have guests here. We'd also like them to be in the picture.
Where are we going?
Right in the center, come
Right in
on,
the center.
back up right here.
All right.
Do I get in it or no?
Yes, Jean?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Carry the big, really big check.
Yes,
And you do all the organizing to make
you
this
did all of
happen.
it. I know, we've got our green. And there you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can't see you.
Oh, okay, all right.
Don't make me come over there.
Nice try, Judy.
Yeah,
Claudia will replace
Claudia will
us.
work us, you know that,
Right.
like, she won't let that happen.
No, I don't need to keep this, but thank you. It won't come in my phone. Okay, it's all set.
You endorse it with a Sharpie, a
Thank you so
really
much,
big
and thank you
marker.
for ordering all this for me. I appreciate your patience.
sure to take a cupcake on the way out. If you don't have to stay, if you'd like to take off, it's up to you.
You wanna stay? He wants pizza.
Of course, I'm sure.
I don't blame them.
So please,
Cut out?
no, of course, please
Take
grab a
cupcakes.
cupcake on the way out, please.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
See you and well done, thank you.
All right, next up on our agenda, we have some exciting information to present to you that's going to be presented by Dr. Bannock and one of his teachers, Emily. So if you'd like to come up. Yes, I would like you to come up too, Emily. She doesn't have to take any credit for this, but she should.
She is becoming a familiar face.
I know.
I don't like this
In
place.
the best way.
I don't
In the
like
best
it.
way,
Without
no,
this,
it's
like,
great.
I'm okay.
Welcome. Share, it's a big podium.
Dr.
Share the
Bannock, why
podium.
don't you introduce the purpose and then we can have Emily intervene.
So we have an exciting possible project that we wanted to just talk with you about today. So it kind of came up with Ms. Arenas kind of in her travels around the world. She made some connections, I'll let her talk about that, and it led to an opportunity that we just wanted to kind of let you know about and get some feedback on. So I'll let her kind of talk about
So,
what happened.
Super short. 2018, went on a whim, saw this page on like Instagram or something, and it was a trip to Australia. So I applied for it, got in a wait list. Like a day later, I was like, hey, give me $300 and I'll send you there. But so I was able to spend a week in Sydney, and then I flew up to Bowen, which is like, oh, sorry. This is like making me really nervous.
You're doing great.
But I spent a week in a classroom, so it was like my second year of teaching, and I was able to see how their system works out there. And then I kind of like meshed really well with the owner of this company. It's called Look Back Tours, and I found out he's actually from Chicago. So we bonded over that too. So we were able to talk about it a little bit more, and it's basically professional development for teachers, but abroad. So he's actually, that was his first year. So like I said, it was very like by chance. I was taking a chance on this company that I found, and ever since then, like, I kind of kept traveling. So in beginning of this school year, he calls me, he's like, what grade do you teach? And I'm like, 4th. He's like, okay, do you have kids who want to come to like France? And I'm like, well, I don't know. But so we kind of connected with them. They actually came out for a school visit, so they were at Northwest. They had 2 administrators from France and then 1 from London. So they spent the day with us, and then they kind of talked like what it would look like to get some of our kids out here for Northwest, out to France, and then French kids out to Northwest. So it's kind of just the beginning, like to see what it works. We would like to open it up to like other countries too, but France is who we have the connections with for right now. So, and I will be visiting that school this summer. So
Amazing.
yeah.
So the 2 people were from Poitiers, France. So they talked about possibly making a partnership between our schools where we'd work on a curricular project throughout the school year, possibly doing something like learning, like our students would learn French, their students would learn English, because their students learn English, all of them learn English, so they're pretty conversational with that. So there's some pictures of like their classrooms and different things like that too on the slides, just to kind of put that out there. So on the next slide, it kind of talks about like what this could look like. We're still obviously in the beginning phases just to see interest and kind of see where we should go. But they talked about 20 to 25 of their students coming to Northwest, where we would find housing for them here. And then we would look, obviously it's the first year, so we're not expecting like everybody to go, but at least 5 students, if we can get them to sign up to go to France from Northwest, that would be good. And on both sides,
Their parents would go with them as well.
yeah, I was gonna get to that, yep. So the idea would be like the students coming here and possibly our students going there would stay with like local families. Yes, the parents would have the option of going with, and that the students could either stay with the host family or stay with the parents going with. So the next step would kind of, like I said, be a parent meeting just to see who would be interested and if this is even a possibility. And then after that, if there's interest and we can move forward, we'd set up orientation meetings and Zoom meet and greets with the students that would be coming here or our students going there.
How long would they be staying with us, and what's each side?
I think we said about a week.
About a week, yeah. So the thought would be maybe have them come like on a Saturday just with jet lag, get them used to things, and they'd attend either like Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday and then leave either that Friday or Saturday.
Wow, that would be
So
amazing.
it's like a 1-week exchange program.
Yeah.
Was it
Kind
for
of, yeah.
fifth grade? Or was it, what
Fourth
grade was
grade?
it for? I thought.
We were looking at next year, we were talking about possibly fifth grade.
Fifth grade, that's what I know, okay.
How is it funded?
So right now, it would be the parents that would be funding the transport. So really,
Flight.
if the flight, so really if they were staying with a host family, the only fees would be the flight, not only, but the fees would be the flight and like like just some incidental costs like transportation from the airport to the location. So probably like $200-300. So
So we
Then, like,
fly,
some
you fly
spending
in,
money, obviously, if they
Right.
need
yeah,
it.
you fly
Right.
into Paris and then it's about a 2-hour train ride directly from the airport down to Poitiers. And then, I mean, obviously, we would like the kids to stay with like host families, cause then you're really immersed in the culture. And I can just talk like on experience with that, with staying in the families with Australia, like I bonded with them so well, and you were actually like, I walked in my backyard and there's like kangaroos jumping around. But, so like it was really cool, but I mean, they said they had like the dorm like type things where the kids would be able to stay all together so they wouldn't be separated if they didn't stay at houses, so it's also.
I think that would be a good fundraising opportunity to kind of expunge the financial burden, if you will.
Uncertain family.
You know what I mean? Because it would be a sacrifice to be able to take part. And then we're all benefiting from each other.
Mhm.
So if the parents didn't have to pay, I just think that would be an added incentive. And I'm pretty sure that our community could get behind that. Couple dollars here and there could pay for it all real quick.
What's such an imbalance with the numbers?
I got 5 on
The-
this.
what so the question was, why is there like an imbalance with the numbers? It's so like what they explained to us, like in Europe, they're all set to like send their kids off and they're fine with it, whereas
We're not.
They are, yes,
yeah,
they
they're more
are.
apprehensive.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that's
that's
why we
Oh,
said
yeah,
start
no.
small and
Okay,
have success
yeah,
and
we're a
grow
little
big.
bit different over
Yeah.
here.
I would totally agree with that, because like the foreign exchange students, when they had it at the high school for years, they would always have this huge influx. And like our high school could only get one kid to wanna participate, like, so yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't surprise me that 20 to 25 they'd send them off.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome, this
That's
sounds
so
very
exciting.
exciting, and the cultural awareness and the relationships that they have the potential to build with these kids in France would be amazing. I mean, we did not host our, we used to host them for the summer when I was a kid, they would come just for the weekend, they were like all the kids from around the state of Illinois then would fly out of Chicago, and so we would host them when we were in high school, because they'd spend like 3 days touring Chicago before they went back home.
Nice.
And the experience, it's exciting. So a week long in a school with,
Well, and they really too, they also emphasize the concept of kids really connecting with kids throughout the course of the school year in a curricular format. So essentially, there would be a time throughout the course of like the day or even week in which they could Zoom with one another and make connections along the way, and not just student to student, but family to family, to ensure that there was this level of comfort in an exchange program of that nature.
so would we have one of our teachers go with over there then, potentially? Would that be an idea, like?
I think you're looking
I
at
would
her.
probably go with them the first year just because I am going, our social worker, one of our social workers and myself are actually going this summer to France. One, just cause Disneyland Paris, and then we're spending the week down at the school to like
Oh,
connect
that's
with
awesome.
them. So
Yeah.
ideally, we were talking
would
like
want-
I'd probably go the first year and then maybe like with one of the 5th grade teachers, and then they can like flip flop, whichever. Or
What would
whoever
make sense,
they-
right,
but
sure,
yeah.
that would be exciting.
An opportunity for them too.
This could be, we could be the trailblazing school
Yeah.
district to
He said
expand
he
this
did
to
ask
other
for if we were
neighboring
willing to take the
schools.
jump.
Yeah.
So I said sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, he said he's willing to like expand it, as far as like, obviously, we're just gonna start with Northwest just because, smaller, but
Start small.
I mean, he's willing to, make it bigger and go with the district eventually. And like other countries, like I said. so.
I love it.
Yeah, that would be
Fun.
great, that sounds very exciting. Well, congratulations, that's a lot of work you've done for us so far.
I just made the connections, he did all the work.
Well, we needed both, so
Yes,
that's awesome.
exactly.
It's exciting. I'll be anxious to
Well, and you
hear
have to
more.
have somebody that wants to think big and like even bigger than just like just to get out of our little
Absolutely.
subdivision.
That's exactly what it is, progressive thinking, I absolutely
Yes,
love it.
I love that, that's
Venture.
great.
Ventures are good.
Our district ambassador.
There you go. Yes, thank you for that. Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same thing, that's my
And if the board has any other questions about processes, we can follow up directly if there's any other questions that you have, regarding funding and our procedures. Obviously, we would want to have like an agreement with families as well to ensure, that families are comfortable sending their student or child to another country and that they were gonna participate, so we would wanna make sure that was done effectively.
It doesn't sound like it's a quick, like it's a once and done, like building that rapport, building those
The
relationships
relationship,
throughout
right.
the year. Of course, we might feel awkward about it right now, but after the kids have already spent time and things like that, you know, down the road, it will be a different, a much more comfortable situation.
Send a whole bunch of flat Stanleys.
There you go. I like that. Absolutely.
Great.
Cool, thank you.
Alright,
Well, thank you so much. That was
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you so
exciting.
much.
Oh my gosh.
take a cupcake.
Yeah, take a cupcake, you gotta
earned it.
remember.
Yes, you earned it. Alright, next up on the agenda is just an overview of the school calendar for the 23-24 school year. So you have a paper copy of it up front, you've seen it also in email. I'm just gonna hit on a couple of different highlights for you to really draw your attention to certain times in the school year. So the goal of the school calendar is to maximize instructional time with cohesive weeks of student attendance. So you'll see that we are aiming for consistent 5 weeks of student attendance to have as much, again, cohesiveness in student instruction. Additionally, we wanted to provide professional development to teachers that include 3 Teacher Institute days prior to the start of the student attendance calendar. The rationale behind that was for 2 reasons. In the near future, we'll be bringing, or Dr. Carlson will be bringing a recommendation to you for our new ELA curriculum. And we are anticipating that that will require a full day training at the start of the year for our K-8 teachers who, at the central middle school level, 6A teachers who teach ELA instruction. So we wanted to allocate time for that institute day at the beginning of the year. Additionally, feedback that we've received from teachers is to have cross-articulation between gen ed students, special education teachers to ensure transition of like IEP workload is properly conveyed to the incoming teacher, so we would allocate for that time within those first institute days. Contractually, just as a reminder, teachers are also provided at least a half day in their classroom on the first day of institute day. A couple other highlights is, we received feedback from our community that we would like to observe Veterans Day by request of our community with no student attendance on Friday, November 10th. However, that would still come with the expectation to celebrate Veterans Day with students either prior to the observed holiday or the Monday after. So you can see November 10th, we do have a scheduled holiday. And that would be in honor of Veterans Day on the 11th.
I'm glad you did that.
Okay, great, thank you. I learned very well. All school, based on feedback from DIRT too, we also have shifted the end of quarter 2 and end of quarter 4. So that was shifted back to January 19th and then May 31st in order to, again, just a little bit more time after winter break and prior to the end of the school year for grading purposes, that we can continue to hold assignments and make sure that students have an appropriate amount of time to turn things in prior to the end of the school year. Parent-teacher conferences will be held during the week of Thanksgiving with no student attendance. Winter break will be from December 22nd through January 9th. Students would return on January 9th, and you'll also notice Teacher Institute Day on the 8th. And then spring break will be held the week of March 29th through April 8th. And then the last day of student attendance will be June 6th. Thankfully, I had everyone look at this calendar, and when I showed it to DIRT, there was actually a day that was grayed out. So Eric caught it, which was great, and we were able to move the last day of student attendance up to June 6th, which would be a half day. And then they also have a clerical day in our collective bargaining agreement, which would be held on June 3rd. So that summarizes the calendar in a whole. Are there any questions?
So
No.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How many parent-teacher conferences are you having?
We are having two. We are technically having three.
That's what it looks like, okay.
We are having three, so we have a full day that goes into the evening on Monday and a half day of parent-teacher conferences on that Tuesday, which
Wait, which day is that then?
that is
21st.
the 21st of November. And I verified with the Regional Office of Education that we can mark 2 parent-teacher conference days as student attendance. And so on March 22nd, that is a student attendance day, and so that will count as a student attendance day and
It's like
not
an early release.
correct, and
So,
not a parent-teacher conference.
I just feel this, this is always my struggle now, is that our quarter 1 ends in October on the 20th, and we don't talk to parents now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks later.
Yeah, and what we really emphasized, and we spoke with teachers about this, is we need to have ongoing communication. We should not just have communication with parents on parent-teacher conferences. We wanna have open lines of communication. If you're seeing concerns, positive feedback, and we should not wait until the week of parent-teacher conferences to express any concerns.
Cause like on our second one in March, it's a week later.
Yeah,
But I still struggle with 5 weeks is a long time for us not to, I know it's probably.
That was an issue for debate, back and forth with at DIRT. In a good way, like just the
Right.
balancing that, the continuity of the weeks, the blocks of the weeks. And, my concern too was the same, like not talking to people until the 20th, but there's so many methods of communication that we can and should be, that's what came out of the meeting at least. That the teacher, there should be that conversation happening long before.
yeah, then we should.
Well, like the junior high is where that's where I'm focused on, and it's because like the littles, do they come with their parents and listen? Sure, they're in 1st and 2nd grade, how much are they really getting out of it? But when we're talking about data and talking about our kids in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and we want them to be involved in it, that report card's now 5 weeks old. And then they go through Thanksgiving, and then they have 2 more weeks of Christmas. And it just, I don't know, I kinda like I gotta be honest, I would prefer that in my, I didn't realize when I read it, I did not notice that until, definitely on paper, when you see it.
Yeah, sure.
I just think it's a better idea that it's more authentic to have conversations about a report card when it's right in their hands and it's a week to 10 days later. And it's unfortunate, cause now it's gone, it's over with and done with, it doesn't matter what they've done. And we've now lost 5 weeks, and I get what you're saying, but parents that do come to these, I just feel like it's better growth for the students, a better growth model for the students to have it closer to their attendance. I don't know, that's just my own thought.
Sure.
That's why we moved to it before then, because we thought it was better for kids to have that conversation when it's still a real report card, whether they're suffering from being grounded from it or celebrating their success.
And to me, I will continue to advocate that I expect that all teachers have open lines of communication to home and to and from school. And I know that CMS administration is working diligently on parent communication. I think too, we don't want any surprises from parents on any regard. We want to keep parents informed and updated to
It's
ensure
just
that
that
they have the
it's that
information.
interpersonal, they're sitting now in front of it. It's just, I still will maintain that this is not a good way to do it, because I truly believe that those parent report cards, the minute they come out, they wanna talk, they're on email versus, and they're gonna email the teachers and they're gonna communicate, but it's still not the same as having a cheek in the seat, as Ms. Parker tells me. It's just better way to communicate, so that we're all on the same page right away about that next quarter's expectations.
Yeah.
And again, it's more about the physical aspect than the communication on the phone or the email.
Sure.
So I would highly recommend reconsider, but whatever.
Everything that you're voicing absolutely came up at DIRT. It did.
Because that's what's good for kids. Let's not make that about anybody else except, it's better for kids to see that report card and have that instantaneous communication and feedback with all of us sitting versus 5 weeks later.
I think the main focus with DIRT too was cohesive instruction. And so we all felt this week of November 6th through the 10th, if we were to have parent-teacher conferences, we're almost like losing a week of instruction. And we did not want to do that. We didn't want to lose instructional time. Like, we are really trying to prioritize and value time in front of students, because that's when you get the most payoff in regards to student achievement. And I'm again really advocating for that in terms of teacher time in front of kids is so important.
It is important, right? No, I definitely agree.
And we really, and I can speak, I'm not certain about attendance, but there's a lot of times when parents then just opt to take their kids out of school during the week of Thanksgiving because they're traveling and attendance is lower. And so if, we know that that's, maybe a practice that's currently happening with families, like, let's try to accommodate that, knowing that I am gonna expect ongoing communication.
How is the attendance at conferences? Do we have an idea of like what percentage of parents attend? I know I'm sort of asking on the spot.
No, I think that's a good question. I mean, I can't speak specifically, but
Yeah,
our
of course.
elementaries are very high. I know that specifically,
Okay.
they're very high.
Yeah.
I cannot speak to Central off the top of my head. I don't know if Joe can, or we can provide, I'm not gonna put Joe on the spot.
No, I wasn't asking.
So we
for
will
that.
provide you that
But to your
information.
point about people going out of town, does this week kind of lend itself to getting out of town and not attending? Has attendance at conferences suffered is my question with the timing. But
I
you
do
could get
not
back to me,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good
It looks like
question.
Mrs. Berry wants to say something.
She does.
Well, I was just going to say, that, there's, annual reviews, there's IEP meetings, there's tier meetings. This all happens way before even, a lot of times, October, like mid-October. It
And
happens
should.
really around the time of mid-quarter,
Yeah,
if that helps alleviate any questions. If we have concerns, it's something that we, value, like effective communication, and that we have to have these conversations sooner than later. So even like in our case, and I think most of the elementary principals would agree that, and I think Central as well, you're not even, I just think by that November date, every parent should have had a parent-teacher conference, and it may not necessarily happen on that day. That within that first quarter,
Mhm.
all teachers are meeting with, whether if it's via Zoom, an email, a conference call, like that everyone's met with at least their parent once by that date, not necessarily on that date. Sorry.
yeah, no, thank you.
Even and that date,
Oh, thank you.
right?
Yeah.
So by that date and again on that date.
Correct.
I got
Like
you.
a follow-up.
And I am happy to go back with the Central specifically and kind of brainstorm different ways to ensure that communication can occur, prior to report card time, to make sure that it's done effectively and, with fidelity. Judy, in terms of your question, I can't really speak to because it's not
No, I
typical
understand.
practice, but
I
we
was
can
just
absolutely
curious.
keep information on whether or not there was solid parent attendance, because obviously that's the goal.
Okay, thanks.
I do think a lot of districts do have parent-teacher conferences the week of Thanksgiving. The difference that I am thinking in my mind out loud is they're more on like a trimester setting. And because of that, then they have a trimester that ends, and then they have parent-teacher conferences. But worth considering. In the future, maybe. Okay, so Kim's gonna vote no.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, spring break is always,
I
yeah,
know.
it's always different.
I know, I just laughed and I can never have it.
Yeah,
Is the
Easter is
20
very early.
Is the 29th Good Friday?
The 29th is Good
Okay,
Friday
very early.
and
Is it?
Easter is the 31st. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. All right. Okay, update on recruitment efforts is next, and Miss Patricia Roberts is gonna share that information.
We had a busy early March. You know, we are working with our principals right now to get ahead of the 2023-24 needs for our staffing needs. And we're launching, of course, we talked about that last time, on microsite, so we have a lot going on. What have we done with the community? Jenna, Dr. Woodland, went recently to our Evergreen Library job fair, which I was super shocked. We got a few early childhood teacher candidates, yeah, I know.
Fantastic.
Like,
Yeah, it's great.
super cool. We are consistently putting our higher information in the Village of Evergreen's weekly e-newsletter. And so one of our like food service positions was filled that way. A lot of the candidates that you see for food service and our other support positions came from that e-newsletter, which is super awesome. So it's definitely building our applicant pool. And then, you know, I told you last time, and we're still doing it, and it's still super helpful. We're still reaching out to the churches. So, you know, Saint Barnabas, Most Holy Redeemer, you know, all of them. So we still have more that we're going to, you know, keep moving with. And then the biggest thing that's been super helpful for us is this virtual. This was my first virtual job fair, and it was super
This is
successful.
awesome.
You know, Dr. Woodland, Ashley, Joe, Zambello, CMS principal, myself, and Becky, Rebecca, we all attended the job fair, and we each interviewed collectively a little over 60 people. Yeah, I know.
It was really,
cool.
I was like real nervous about it, I'm gonna tell everybody. I kept getting all these emails about this job fair, and I told Patricia she had to do it, and I was like, let's just try it. And then I was getting all these emails, and I was like, oh boy. What did we sign up for?
60 people, that's
But we got
fabulous.
60 people.
That's awesome.
But
Yes.
what was super awesome is that, you know, our leaders were so overly positive about learning this, because you had to go through a process of seeing a video, learn how to do it. And then Cal, our communications person, our booth, I know I am, you know, partial, but really, our booth was super great. I looked at everybody else's booth, and we were super top.
And this is our virtual booth.
This is
Yes,
our
it was our
virtual
virtual
booth.
booth.
It was just really great. I was super impressed. And so we
That
have a
is
few
awesome.
candidates that we're looking at out of that. I'm not sure, Joe, how many of yours are from the job fair, but we definitely have people who applied to our website based on it. So, and then we can still go and look in candidates as we're moving along. They'll keep it open for us for a little longer. We will do this again in June.
That is
Already. And then for Claudia, because I know she mentioned it the last time, we are very diligent about recruiting diversified staff. And we and I are working on a plan. It's actually one of our biggest goals. We're not just looking to fill the positions with diversified people, but we're looking to establish like partnerships so that we can keep this going in the future. So we're doing more of a deep dive is what I mean. We're just not, you know, cold calling. We're putting together packets and trying to get to the right people at each of the universities. We're also doing our homework, because it doesn't help us if, you know, they can't provide us with candidates that we need for the positions. One of the things we're lacking, and it's super odd for me to have to say this because I'm always doing this on the other end, we need more men teachers. You know, it is something we don't have, and normally in my recruitment efforts and everywhere else I am, I'm always looking for more females, so I find it super odd. But, Morehouse. I put Morehouse on the list because it's a school just for men. And so
That's a
we're
great
not
point.
just looking to diversify, with race, but we're looking to diversify in gender as well. So these are some of the efforts, and I think that it's coming along wonderfully. We hope to have all positions filled and ready for the new school year.
Yes.
60, that's so
It
exciting.
was awesome. I was
And how many
really-
showed up at the library?
I mean, there was a number of, I don't know numbers off the top of my head,
Okay.
but I definitely met, that I vividly remember, 2 early childhood teachers and 2 EL certified teachers. And what was interesting to me is a couple of the candidates who also worked at CPS were also saying that they would be willing to leave CPS because it was not the most conducive environment, and they're looking for more of a family feel, a small knit community that they could really, smaller class size, so a lot of things that we are offering and also publicizing on our microsite. So I was really happy.
A lot of great
Amazing.
stuff, so
Yes.
got a big smile on my face.
Excellent.
Thank you for your
Good
efforts.
job.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow. Making it happen. Like it.
All right. Mr. Grossi.
Statement expenditures over the last month, nothing really unique has happened. The only things mainly salaries and benefits that have affected this. Statement of revenues, we have stopped receiving our delayed tax payments because that's pretty much caught up now. So the statement of revenues did not bump up too much from the prior month. The main payments were 2 evidence-based funding payments. And then with the revenues slowing down from tax revenue, the fund balances have gone down just a little bit. Nothing crazy though. And then kindergarten registration. We have bumped up the price of kindergarten registration this year to $50 for half day and $50 for full day. But if you register and pay for your fees by April 14th, we would like to offer a discount to where it would be $35 for kindergarten.
Yes. Our fancy postcard ran out for kindergarten registration. I have it in my office if you'd like to see it. I'm like postcard happy. I'm like postcard happy. Oh, good. Yes,
got
we
it.
see
It's
them.
working.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's working.
Yeah, it is.
But we're really trying to promote early registration with kindergarten to do everything we can to try and avoid having to add sections like last minute in August. So we're trying to, positive promotion, right? Right, guys? It was all their idea. I can't take the credit.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Any questions?
When did those postcards go out?
About 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, right, Sonia? Yeah.
Anecdotally,
I
we
got-
had
I've gotten one.
a new kindergarten parent, and she got hers, and she was very happy to have it, so.
Yes,
Yes,
and we got
right.
feedback on how we can even improve our postcard.
I got 2, maybe I got yours.
You probably got I'm thinking
That was
you
good,
did.
Michael.
Our mailman.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, Dr. Carson.
I'm gonna let Dr. Zampulo speak first, so he's gonna talk about 5th grade transition.
Awesome.
Kindergartens, 5th to 6th, it's all about transitions, isn't it?
Well, it's that time of year as we get ready to say goodbye to our 8th graders, because we are in that window. We also start thinking about our 5th graders who are gonna be coming to us as 6th graders. Yeah, so we have them on our minds as well, and are starting planning for that. So some things that we're gonna be doing. We have visits set up. We're gonna go visit the 5th graders. On April 18th, we're going to the South schools. And April 19th, we're going to the North schools. And right now, I'm scheduled to go, and the plan is going to be to hopefully bring some of our students with me. You know, we get some Southwest kids, graduates, Southeast, you know, et cetera. So we gotta make arrangements, transportation arrangements for that, cause kids don't wanna listen to me, right? I'm just the old guy that shows up, they don't care. They wanna tell you what, to see what the kids have to say, so so we're gonna, that's in the plans, that's in the works. The other thing that we're looking to do is we are going to do a step-up day on May 26th. That is a half SIP day, so the plan will be to, and I know Jenny and Chris will be planning that, our assistant principals, and the plan will be to bring the fifth graders over. Now, the way we're gonna pull this off is, cause there was a little bit of a scheduling thing this year, we're moving graduation to June 1st and moving the last day of school for the eighth graders to May 31st took away, you know, we have to have space in the building.
Right.
I didn't know that, you know, being a rookie, I'm like, oh yeah, we can do it every day, and Jenny and Chris were like, Joe, how are we gonna fit fifth graders in here? And you're like, yeah, you guys are right, okay, you're absolutely right. So I talked to Dr. Woodland, and what we're gonna do is on May 26th, that's a half SIP day, we're gonna have the eighth graders have a virtual learning day. So we're gonna have to communicate, so they can stay home and do virtual learning on May 26th, so then that way we have the space in the building. Seventh graders will move up to the eighth grade floor and get the opportunity to meet their eighth grade teachers, and sixth graders will have the opportunity to meet their seventh grade teachers, and that's how we're gonna pull that off.
Everybody steps up there.
Everybody steps up,
That's
which is
great.
normally the case, but normally
Yeah.
there would be like, whether it be the eighth graders, it's Great America Day, or there would be other days where we can do that.
Sure.
The way it worked out, we weren't able to do that except to do a virtual day for the eighth graders. So we'll get more information out, that the eighth grade families do not know that, of course, if they're listening, or they're watching, they know now, so the
I'm
word's gonna
sure
get
the
out.
students were doing a lot of fist bumps.
They
That's
don't
a
know
very
that yet,
tidy
but
solution,
the
though.
word's
That's
out
it.
now,
That's
so
good,
I guess,
yeah.
the word's out now. But that is the plan. The other thing we're gonna do, different going into next year is we're moving Meet the Teacher Night for sixth graders to August 23rd, which is
Right at the
before
beginning.
the school year starts. We tried to do a version of that this year where we had the opportunity to bring the kids and parents in during packet pickup day. And it worked out okay, but it was still got a little tricky and crowded, and with everything you have to do on packet pickup day, you know, trying to meet with everybody. So we were able to schedule it this year where we moved it to before the school year starts, which that's important, because then it does give the kids and the parents the opportunity to come in, meet their teachers, walk around the school a little bit, walk around, get to their lockers.
Try their locker
their
combination,
combinations, all of those kind of
absolutely.
things as well. So we're gonna do that and move it before the school year. That's obviously the day before, right, this day before school starts next year.
Yep, 23rd is Wednesday, so
So,
first half day is the 23rd.
You know, anything that we
Since the
can do
calendar's
to make
right
that
here.
transition as smooth as possible, as you know, that's a big change. Just like our eighth graders get ready to make the big change for high school, whatever we can do to make that, and to get connected to them. Those visits are important, that step-up day is, step in is important, you know, to start that connection. So we're excited, it's exciting times.
Does that day interfere with the clerical day at the start of the year for our teachers?
No, I know, cause it works in, because they have no, it does not, because the way I didn't give you the time, I apologize, it's 5:30, it's 4:30 to 5:30. So yeah, it's after the Institute Day, and that's part of their contractual obligation, we're just moving, and normally it would be after the school year starts, we're just moving that day to before. So sorry, I didn't get the time,
Super smart.
alright. Any questions? Alright, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Oh, that's good. Love knowing all that's happening.
Hello. So along with transitioning into a new year, we're also talking about summer school, which is really exciting. Last year, I looked back to when we talked about this for the first time last year, and it was May. So we are way more on top of things
Yay,
this
us.
year,
Look at you.
and
Oh my
we're, you know,
gosh.
we're a little more organized. So you have the dates for summer school, which will be June 12th through July 12th. We'll be off June 19th and July 4th and 5th. We'll run it Monday through Friday at Northeast from 8:30 to 11:30 for students. And then we also incorporated a staff training day for teachers on that day as well. We have sent out some correspondence to our teachers, giving them preliminary information, and then also starting to take recommendations from them as well, student recommendations. We will then, once we get all of those, be able to then determine what staffing we need for the program this year. I would like to be very excited to recommend a shared position for our summer school this year. So Mrs. Carrie Berry and Mrs. Haley Vermeer have wonderfully decided to share the position and both bring their expertise. They've both been very successful running the summer school program in the past. So they will be able to bring that, and we really hope to grow the program, make some changes to it in the coming years to be able to offer more enrichment opportunities and things like that. So they both have wonderful ideas that we feel will benefit the program moving forward and lend consistency.
So where's it gonna be?
At Northeast.
Oh, it will be at North. So Carrie, you just can't give away
I was
the
like, she
rank.
doesn't want to give it.
It's the power in her.
That always is an interesting conversation where it's gonna be where are projects going on, what is open, what is available, so.
When is the enrichment coming back?
We're hoping to bring it back soon. I'm not sure, we're gonna start having conversations with them about it once. We're ahead of the game this year, so we'll see what we're able to do.
Especially since we have 2 principals.
Yeah.
We should be able to have enrichment.
Yes.
No pressure.
We also had another creative idea that we're not quite ready to share, or maybe I am. So in the future, not this summer, but I would love to, when I was at the job fair, I realized that there were a lot of teenagers that were looking for summer work. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to do like a big brother, big sister program to really encourage some like strong high school role models for our students that could be tied to enrichment. And so it's a futuristic project.
Got a college
I think that's
freshman
a great
studying
idea.
education,
I love it.
so if you
Great
wanna
to
borrow
meet you.
him.
I was like, how can I put these teenagers to work?
And it's
But it's the positive role model piece and giving them opportunities to really be present and working with kids. And I also think it could hopefully advocate for future teachers.
Yeah.
I had a number of conversations with teenagers on that day, like, what are you going to school for? And I had a very few that said teaching, and I said, you should be a teacher. And they're like, I'm not certain I can do that, and I said, you can do that. So, trying to promote in-house education.
I was wondering which idea you were talking about. There's lots of ideas that go on.
That one's sticking with me,
This was a really
actually.
good one, we like
Yes.
that one a lot. So yes, so we're very excited for summer school this
So
year.
is this what, does this also incorporate our kindergartners, like that boot camp?
Yes.
Kindergarten Jump
Oh,
Start.
it's gonna have
yes.
that, okay.
Yes,
Yep.
Kindergarten Jump Start.
Boot camp
Yes.
sounds more fun though.
Yeah, it does sound more fun.
I don't know that we refer to it as that,
See,
but
like-
Boot camp, I feel like they used to call it like the summer school, what was it called, Jumpstart Boot Camp
Jumpstart.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Boot camp sounds fun.
Sounds rough. They're like 5 and 6 though, so maybe.
Get them ready. Start them early.
So the next thing that I have tonight is just kind of an overview. It is also that time of year where we're doing all of the testing. So IAR testing has started yesterday. So that's ELA and math for grades 3 through 8. Yesterday was a very smooth and perfect day, and today,
today
Pearson was down.
Yes!
So
I was waiting.
So it was not as pleasant. So we have some students that were able to get in, some students
Did you
that
get the
were
big
not.
email then that said?
Yes, some students that were not able to get in. So we have some makeup tests that we will have to do for that. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, that tomorrow is another
So
smooth
did
day.
yours get booted out while they were in the midst of it, or?
Error messages, teachers were unable to get in and control the site, start tests, stop
I
tests,
feel
things
like that's just really invalid,
Yep, all the feelings, I have all the
yeah, we're
feelings.
not.
Our table of educators as well.
Which
Which
is
is
like,
why
yes,
in our
yes.
strategic plan, we are aiming at common assessments.
Yes.
To really monitor in-house performance, because that's really important.
Yes,
Tied to our instruction.
more important.
Well, cause it's just then if they go back in like tomorrow, do they start it, like, will it start the whole test over?
They've
if it
said
didn't?
that they're gonna resume them where they left off, is what Pearson is.
Look at my skeptical face.
That's what I
But I do feel that it lends itself to a different experience for our students that had that today versus other students who seamlessly test without that. It still is. to
I
me,
just laughed when I saw that email come.
unvalidated.
Okay, well, thank you, we already knew that, you know, hello, thanks for the 2 hour.
Might ramp up some test anxiety too.
We had students that were upset today and frustrated and yes.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection on them, but that's really hard to feel that it's not, like, it's a hard place to get to sometimes.
And I was at Carrie's building and a teacher came in and turned in her stuff and she's like, it's fine. And I was like, it's not fun. I mean, she was so calm and I was like, I'm frustrated for you and for them and, not
Well,
agree.
cause it's hard, cause then if tomorrow they go to log in and they've already done some of the work, only cause I've experienced this before with different
redo it.
and they have to redo it, then they rush, cause they think they already remember the answer from last time.
Right.
So I hope that's just hard, whatever, it is.
Not great at all.
Thank you, IAR, Pearson, thank you.
So our next assessments are the science assessments. We're gonna take those after spring break, so that's just a test for 5th and 8th graders. A little less stressful and whatnot, but that's coming as well. So huge thank you. A lot of people make this work. Our tech department is fabulous and has worked really hard and we're definitely on their toes today. So that includes Dan and his team. Janet does a great job getting testing tickets together and getting students in session on the platform. Our principals are scheduling geniuses, how they make all of this work in all of the classrooms and with specials and whatnot. So they do a great job. Our staff is patient and flexible during this week, and on a day where you're planning to do testing and then all of a sudden you're not, you have to have a way to entertain all of your students who you didn't necessarily plan for. And then our students and families, making sure kids get good breakfasts on these days, and our students who I'm certain don't wanna be doing this every day, but put in their best and hopefully do their best. So appreciate all of them. So that's all I got. Any questions? All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. We are on to public comments. And I have 2 this evening, so I'm gonna say my words. Thank you so much. So a few reminders specifically about logistics of public comment portion for every meeting, including this evening, as is posted on our agenda publicly for every meeting to respect all of our stakeholders, our commenters, our board, our public. We adhere very closely to the 3-minute limit. It'll be up here on the screen for everyone. Good news, bad news, everyone, doesn't matter. We'll set a timer and we expect everyone to respect those 3 minutes. In addition, we do not respond to public comments at board meetings, but we do hear them. And if there is follow-up, we respect, we listen, and we take into account all the community concerns. And we follow up as quickly as we can afterwards. So, first I have Meg Lara. She's still here? You're exactly on the other side of the podium for me. So I thought I saw you earlier and obviously, so welcome back. Thank you.
Just thank you for responding. I just had some more questions about the mobiles. If we had a deadline as to when we wanted them to not be there, because I kind of started thinking about Northeast specifically, because we're spending millions of dollars to put central air in the building. And so that's what it made me think of, like, if we're going to be getting rid of the mobile, we're either gonna be expanding the building or getting a new building. So we should probably figure out if we're gonna need that building before we spend millions of dollars fixing it.
That part.
So that's what I was thinking about. And if we just had anyone come out as far as like an engineer or contractors to say, hey, you can expand, but it's gonna be this much money, that it will take this many years, so that we can kind of decide and just know that, like, okay, we're gonna put central air in this building, but it would be more cost effective to build on top of it and then put the central air or to expand or anything like that. And then I was thinking as far as like, you said that Northwest is landlocked, so kind of the same thing, like, can they build up or are we looking for brand new buildings? And kind of we're just wanting to know, like, what exactly would be the cost of something like this? What are our fundraising plans and all that kind of stuff? So
It's all in the works.
Yes, all of the nodding is because you are asking excellent questions.
Okay.
And we will follow up again. an inviter to a facility.
Yeah, I was just getting.
Like, seriously,
Mind reading.
yeah, no, so thank you so
You're
much.
invited to our next facilities
Yes,
meeting.
thank you so much again. I do appreciate that and like I
Thanks
said,
for interest.
all good questions and we're asking the same ones, so
And
absolutely.
trust me, we won't be doing any ignorant things.
No, we will absolutely be bringing everyone in because again, the questions you're asking are the ones we're asking ourselves, so.
Great, thank you.
I'd like a pool on the third floor.
Oh. So we're gonna build 3 floors and a pool, there you go, there you
I'd like a
go.
pool, that would be my wish.
And then our second is Miss Plastic. Okay. Hi, it's always nice to see you.
No.
It's like this immensely, but. Okay, I have 2 parts. First off, I would just like to thank my admin team over at Central. Lavin, Daly, and Zimpillo have been amazing. Like, they are constantly doing stuff for the staff. They are constantly going out of their way. They're constantly showing us support. And I don't think we ever tell them how much we appreciate you guys. And you 3 are the reason I'm still here. You guys are phenomenal and thank you for everything you do every single day. It is really, really appreciated. So that's the first part. On to you guys. And I wanted to say thank you, a million thank yous to Dr. Woodland and all of you for the 3D printers at Central. The excitement is phenomenal. The kids walk in and they're like, what's printing now?
What are we
Start
building
this one.
today?
What's over here? They're taking, like, there's a dinosaur that we 3D printed and he's constantly like walking around the room. They're like, how did you do this? I am getting emails after email after email from kids who are going into Tinkercad on their own time and SketchUp on their own time, and they are making things and they're like, can you please print this? Can you please print this? When can we have this color filament? When can I come see you? They are making ID holders for students that I don't even have. And they're like, I'm making my friend an ID holder because their ID broke and they saw mine and they want one. And they are learning. I know, it's so cool. And we have made so many mistakes and gone through so much filament and it's fabulous. Because the kids are like, all right, well, I know what I can do to fix this. Let me try this and this. What do you think about this? How does this work? And they're helping each other. It's like everything you want to see, the communication, the collaboration, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you. And I also brought you guys a little present. So yeah, that's it.
That is awesome.
You're welcome. There's another present that did not finish printing. I'll give it to admin one day. It's just a little something.
Failing forward is always.
Yes,
right?
They're learning and I love
Ways
that.
to not build a light bulb, right?
Yes, we've learned so many ways not to build ID holders, so many different ways. This one's yours is extra big.
Wow.
Can I take it? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Paul, I really appreciate it.
I love it.
Welcome. Thank you. The kids, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and by the way,
Amazing.
he is awesome. Dan
Well,
has
we
been
knew that.
so helpful
Yeah.
with me and.
Wow, more props and talent today.
Going on.
Wow. This is so cool. I love it. That is awesome. I'm putting it on my keys right now. That is amazing. What was that?
And then I had to reprint it because it didn't come out. Never mind, don't.
Thank you.
Yes, this is super cool. Oh my
Goodness. Okay.
There is, Dr. Woodland got a coaster that was designed by one of our students. That's what's waiting in my printers at school. Just ran out of time, coasters for all of you that say EP family. That was
I love
designed.
Okay. We were just discussing, green today.
Yes.
Because it is both of our favorites. And so the fact that like now I have toys to go on my, in the, even in the right.
When I designed that, she saw it on my desk and her face, she's like, oh, look at this!
look at what I did, right? Isn't that cool?
That is fabulous.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
And you inspire them clearly, cause they wanna keep coming back and emailing you and coming back to class, so, you know. That's awesome. No, that's a talent.
Son
That's a
wants to be a
rockstar
science
energy.
teacher.
I wanna go to Yes. I'm not ready to be a science
Because, yes, you know that, John Francis. Thank you. Wow, we don't usually get gifts from public. It's on my
Right?
keychain already. We're good.
When she was talking, I'm like, wow, we should double her minutes now.
Well, and I had to say, like, for better or for worse, because both of these
Then
were
she
really
passed it on.
good things, but I still can't let you go on and on, so, okay. Thank you both
Must
for
bring
speaking,
gifts.
and thank you for our gifts, so there you go. And thank your students for us.
Yes.
If they're watching, thank you very much, it's already on my
Yes, thank
keychain,
you.
so, very cool. Okay, we are on to board reports. So Denise Jones and I were at the most recent DIRT meeting, but I'm pretty sure that now that we've heard about the calendar, that was most of the report from the most recent DIRT meeting, because there was one item only on it, and it was addressed at the BERT meeting the morning of our DIRT meeting, so it wasn't even something we needed to discuss. And the rest of the conversation was with the teachers and paras and principal regarding the calendar for next year. So that's the easiest DIRT report I've ever gotten to give, so that's nice. So seating of our new board is also on the agenda. So our election is coming up on Tuesday, April 4th. I was gonna say November, like no, April 4th. And I said this in our We Connect webinar just a couple weeks ago. We are not, we have to wait, so I'm gonna read this from the IASB calendar. So the 25th of April is actually the last day of the election authority to canvass the election returns and report the results for the April 4th, 2023 consolidated election to the board secretary. So the board secretary is then required to transmit election results to the school board, but we'll get them, so.
Imagine that.
Yeah, you're off the hook. So that is also a Tuesday, right?
Oh, that'll still be me.
I know. So, we also have an end date as to when is the latest that we can seat the new board. So we can't do it on or before the 25th, but we have to do it by like Sunday the 14th or something wacky like that. So we will be seating the new board on Wednesday, May 3rd. Right here, there will probably be cupcakes. And that will probably be our only agenda item, is to seat the new board and have them take their oath of office and
May 3rd, is that what we
bid
said?
fond and appreciative farewell for our current board members who are leaving. We'll be celebrating you else time,
Are
other
we gonna
times
start
too.
earlier? Wanna do it earlier, like a 5 or?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
That's in
I'm
May.
filling-
I'm not
filling my
thinking those
calendar
thoughts
up
yet.
very quickly.
Yes, it does. So I'll send out an email and make sure that that's good for everybody.
Okay.
But that's the deal. I just wanted to put that on, truly on public record, because the 4th is election day, but we can't take action on it for at least another 3 weeks is the point. So, everybody should know that we're not just sitting around doing nothing. But then we will act on it when we can. Okay, I'm not. I know you're not. You're everywhere. Are you kidding me? So yeah, that's, the seating of the new board will happen on Wednesday, May 3rd.
Make sure you remind them to bring their family.
Family, there will be cupcakes, yes, all of those things.
Yeah. Bring
It's a-
family, lots of pictures.
Yes, absolutely. So that will be a good day too. And then the next one is the Mulcrone Scholarship Discussion. So we've done this before, every year. Like you, Ashley, I am trying to do things a little earlier because I was in conversation every year, and parents are often making plans for their, students are often making plans in February and March for what they wanna work on this summer. And so I know that a lot of the local schools, high schools are already publishing their,
Yeah, the high schools have their camps
yep,
out.
already
yes.
publishing their camps and things like that. So doing it a little ahead of time is a good thing. So unfortunately, Dan, this is also you tagging that off, getting the form and things up to date. You and I can be in correspondence about having it's an EdLeo, like an application form. And middle school awesome admin and teachers talking it up for your students. And so I wanted to say the words that we will be putting on that application because some folks might not know what the Mulcrone Scholarship is. So Judy was around for the Klimzak boys, so I know who she was. So the Judy Mulcrone Scholarship, it funds athletic participation costs like summer sports camps for students with a demonstrated commitment to intramural and interscholastic sports at CMS, particularly volleyball, good sportsmanship, a dedication to academic study, and good citizenship. So as a teacher and coach, Judy Mulcrone valued teamwork, sportsmanship, and a commitment to ongoing and continuous skill improvement. So that's what we are doing. The criteria for the students includes a demonstrated commitment to intramural and interscholastic sports at Central. And the application can be self-filled out, or it can be a nomination from a teacher or an administrator, or I think even parents can fill it out as well. And it asks for what they're involved in GPA and things like that. So if we can talk that up over the next month and then have that conversation at April, so parents can make their decisions monetarily on what the family wants to be involved in over the summer.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just need to add this in because it came up in conversation.
Yeah.
There are students with disabilities that might be in some of our cooperatives that are middle school students that may want to participate in
Excellent.
summer sports, but it might have to go through the Oak Lawn Special Rec program. So the question was, because I know our community, because we don't have special rec, we will bus the students to the Oak Lawn Special Rec programs because we don't offer it. That's something that Evergreen says that they'll provide because we don't have it. So I was asked to make it known that if there are any other, since we're an inclusive school district, and these are our students that just might not attend Central but are in middle school, so.
Well, there are students, so yeah, there are students,
There are.
absolutely. And the nice thing
love
is, like,
that.
if
Thank
Evergreen, you can apply for camps that are outside of Evergreen Park, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we've sent them definitely, not just the Evergreen Park
Right.
High School, but you're
So
right.
it shouldn't be a stretch
I
to
did not
do-
know Oak Lawn has that, that is amazing.
And I didn't know that they would bus
They
from
do.
here. That's phenomenal.
Well, I think the difference is
talk?
we don't have what is it, they have,
Park district.
they have a park district and we have a rec department.
Right.
But
Right.
that's awesome that we could then, so
Yeah.
yes, I always am amazed, I'm always hoping one year we're gonna get like 20 applications for this because,
I know.
because, I mean, dream big, if you
Right.
wanna go to a camp that specializes in
I
something
agree.
athletic, like, and it's a sleepaway camp, like, apply for it, like, if
Yeah.
your
Right.
parents are willing to let you go to something, like, dream big, you
Yeah.
know, and
Right.
and ask because, you know,
Where's they going to say?
And
We've
we
got
will
some
continue to
fabulous-
reiterate, this is not income contingent, so
Oh, gosh,
the
No.
parents that aren't necessarily needy don't have to squelch away from applying.
right, it's anyone, it's
Take the
definitely not
break in the
income.
budget.
It's more based on what they're, right, what they
Or
wanna do.
say yes to two instead of one. Right, like it
Yeah.
really could be, maybe
That's a
it's
good
somebody who's
point.
got a couple sports.
Yeah.
So, that is amazing. Let's
Great,
talk.
great idea.
That's
That
really
is
good.
great, yes.
How do we, so in my mind, like, how do we get the information to them and that kind of stuff? So we'll figure
Right,
that, we'll
yeah.
figure that out.
Power School.
Oh, that's great.
Power School, yeah, we can do that.
Problem solved.
Excellent.
Dan, you're not gonna be speaking to us today.
Our school solves a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that's I love that, that's really, really great, thank you. Cool, okay, so we are on to our action items, our consent agenda. Wow,
Quick.
How'd we do that? Mrs. Berry, how did we do that tonight? I'm just asking. She always knows. Okay, so I know, right? I better
just
get through
said
this.
don't do
Okay,
it,
so
don't say it.
consent agenda. Michael says, don't talk about this until you actually bang the gavel.
Yeah.
Come on. So consent agenda item number A is to number 1, approve monthly transaction reports for February of 2023. 2 is to approve fund balance reports for February of 2023. 3 is to approve expenditure report and projected payroll report for March of 2023. 4 is to approve the board minutes from the regular meeting of February 15th, 2023. 5 is to approve the closed session minutes from the regular board meeting of February 15th, 2023. 6 is to approve destruction of closed session tapes from November of 18. And 7 is the personnel recommendations, additions, FMLA, resignation to, with intent to retire, and a resignation effective June 6th, as listed on the agenda. So may I have a first motion to approve the consent agenda? Thank you, Denise. And a second?
Second.
Excellent. And a roll call?
Denise Jones,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Kim Leonard, yes, Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Item number B is to approve the summer school principals,
Plural.
co-principals.
Who are they again?
Who are they again? If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Michael. And a second,
I'll second.
and a roll call.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones,
Yes.
Kim Leonard, yes, Claudia Parker,
It's gonna be the best summer school program ever.
I think that's a yes.
and Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And not to be glib, but Sonia, do we need to change that since it's principals? Like, would that be considered an agenda amendment? You can think
Nope,
on that
we're
one.
gonna add
I
Vanessa.
don't think so.
No? Okay, we're good. All right.
It's one position, I mean, they're just.
True, they're just sharing
sharing
it,
it.
okay. Item number C is to approve our behavior intervention specialist position. If I could have a first,
I'll make the motion.
Michael, and a second.
I'll make the second.
Thanks, Kim, and a roll call.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Kim Leonard, yes, Denise Jones,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent.
Did you say her name?
Is she?
She, I'm gonna introduce her, but she was unfortunately unable to come.
I thought she was supposed to.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So her name is Grace Havercorn. I'm so excited to introduce her. So Grace is so dedicated to kids and is currently an ABA therapist and had the opportunity to meet with a student that she had been working with this evening. So she called and said, I'm so sorry, but I've been working with this student. Can I commit to this kid? And I said, absolutely. And it was, in the moment, something that I knew she wanted to do. But Grace comes to Evergreen Park with a variety of different experiences, including classroom teacher experience as a special education teacher and a behavior therapist. She's a certified therapist working with students of all backgrounds, and it was absolutely clear in the interview process that she firmly believes in inclusion and supporting students with behavioral needs. She emphasized with just complete, I'm gonna use her name, Grace, that she wants to be actively involved in buildings, working with students, working with kids, and that's what really stood out to me. And her willingness to teach teachers new strategies that are both practical and efficient in nature while taking into consideration the needs of the entire classroom. So I am super excited to have her on board and can't wait for you guys to meet her.
Awesome. We look forward to
Awesome.
that. That's
Yes.
awesome, and we're happy to have her. And soon.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
fantastic. I mean, that's really, really good news. Excellent. So item number D is to approve our school calendar for the 2023-2024 school year as presented. If I
I'll
can
make
have
the motion.
and a second,
Second.
and a roll call, please.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Denise Jones,
Yes.
Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Kim Leonard, no, Claudia Parker,
Yes.
and Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
And item number E is to approve the school registration fees for the 23-24 school year. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the first.
I'll second.
Excellent. And a roll call?
Denise Jones,
Yes.
Kim Leonard, yes. Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Yes, motion passed.
Excellent. And then item F is to approve our summer school program. If I may have best summer school program ever, as Claudia said,
Yes.
right? So if I could have a first motion, please.
first. I
And
knew
a
that.
second.
I'll second.
Great. And a roll call, please.
Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Kimberly Leonard, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent.
Motion passed.
I know. So at this point, recessing to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. And we will be taking action after closed session, but we will not be continuing the recording, or y'all don't need to stick around. So you're welcome to, but it's gonna be over. Yes, thank you. And a second?
Second.
Excellent. And a roll call?
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Judy Rayson,
Yes.
Kim Leonard, yes. Claudia Parker,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Excellent, thank you.
Do you enjoy the green?